I don't know how you want to. I don't even know. I got a nickname for him, but I don't know if it's proper to say it on the show, man. But I'm just gonna just show his video and we just go from there.
Surrounded claim is that systemic racism is used as an excuse to avoid personal responsibility. Slavery was never about race. It was about cheap available labor.
Chattel slavery was about race.
Slavery, as
chattel
we know
slavery was about race. I'm not saying slavery.
The perpetuation of race, perpetuation of slavery was not instigated by race. Why do you keep just
saying slavery instead of chattel slavery? Acknowledge the thing that I'm saying.
Well, I don't really.
Do you know what the difference is between just slavery and chattel slavery?
I don't see that being a major point to the conversation that we're having right now.
You don't think chattel slavery is a major point?
To the conversation we're having right now, I don't think that there needs to be a delineation.
It literally is. Gomez Inez de Zurara said,
How does that affect you today?
I got you.
Okay, let's get
Gomez Inez de Zurara said that these people were hypersexual, animalistic, they were the lower hemisphere, and they needed to be civilized. And they could civilize them vis-a-vis chattel slavery. Now, that rolls forward to where we are today.
How?
There's a whole bunch of stuff that you missed, but I'm going to skip forward.
Well, what policies are in place?
Right now. I'm getting it right now.
That back up your claim.
The systems that black people exist in today that continue to disenfranchise us: medical racism, educational racism, financial racism.
Explain that. Explain that to me.
I got you. Do you know?
I don't agree with you.
Do you know the black maternal mortality rate in the United States of America?
I don't know it, but I do know this: that black people have a disproportionate effect in that area.
Yeah, it's 50.3 versus the
white. But that's not necessarily discrimination and disparities are different. That's not necessarily meaning that somehow the medical system is intentionally discriminating against black people.
It's literally medical racism. You got to let me finish. You got to let me finish. 14.5 when it comes to the white maternity mortality rate. Do you know what the infant mortality rate is?
I do not know that offhand.
Yeah, the infant mortality rate is 10.8 versus white 4.5. There was a study that was completed that showed that when it comes to white babies, no matter who they're treated by, whatever race their doctors is, whoever they're treated by, they have the same possibility to life versus anyone else. Black babies, literally, the survival rate for black babies drop unless it's a black doctor taking care of the baby.
That was very interesting.
Dude, we could end the show right there.
Right. So I want to let everybody know this was a recent.
That was the right place to stop.
Right. In a recent appearance on the Surrounded. I'm not sure if y'all ever watched Surrounded, but it's by Jubilee. Is the channel that it's on, but it's Surrounded is where they put a person, a known person, talks about politics and society, and they surround them with opposition, and
20.
They debate. How many is it?
20 people.
20 people, and they debate with this person. So he sparked a strong reaction for what many are calling uninformed or misleading takes. It raises a bigger question about the influence and credibility and how narratives shape our public opinion, especially in the black community. So this is my first point with you guys. The responsibility of public figures with large platforms. When does opinion cross into misinformation, and who checks it? The impact on community perception. How are those narratives like these influence how black issues are understood and outside of the community? Who checks that? Whose responsibility is it? And what the great thing about this show, when they're having these conversations, when you are saying something that's misinformed or you just basically lie, or you're speaking something out of misinformation, they fact checking you in real time as you're talking. Like literally, you're actively lying, and they're showing the fact check right beside you. So that's one thing. But what about when we get to the broader conversation in society? That's just one show that's willing to fact check you live. What about those that don't? And so again, I'll come back to the first part of that question was the responsibility of public figures with large platforms like this guy has now because of what he does. When does the opinion cross into misinformation, and who checks it? Let's go with you, EB.
First of all, it's entertainment. It's entertainment. There is, we talked about this before, there is very little interest in truth. Way before Trump got into office, and now is even more prevalent because it takes a little bit of work to fact check. Some people don't want to have to fact check. They would rather hear what's being said and accept it because it takes a little bit of work to be Googling and going on the search engine and trying to fact check things. Mm-hmm. So it's entertainment. That's the first thing. The second thing is the people that makes the loudest noises get the most attention.
Right.
And so, I mean, whether you're talking about Tatum or Trump, right? One of the reasons why we even talking about Trump at all was because he used the art of media to get attention, to draw attention to himself, right? There was sometimes he would have been paying for public broadcast at all because the media who said they hated him was broadcasting his stupid comments so much that gave him free publicity. It's the same thing with Brandon. It's entertainment. And as long as you have an entertainment mechanism inside of media, you're going to always have misinformation.
Right. Got you. What about you, Bria?
Yeah, I agree. It's entertainment, but I think that right now in this age of social media, influencers have more of an impact than they have had in the past. And I think that people who don't fact check and who just take him at his word, I'm not gonna lie, not many black people. There's not a lot of black people that actually rock with Brandon Tatum. So I'm not really worried about us there. But I am worried about the youth that hear this misinformation coming from him and people like him, because they repeat it, and this happens all the time. They just regurgitate the stuff. Like nobody fact checks it. They just continue to parrot these opinions. And in that same Jubilee episode, Brandon Tatum said something else that was really, really concerning. He gave his own take of the Tulsa massacre. And that's one of those things that I am worried about, because when you have his take and you have youth that are conservative that are listening to his take and they agree with his take, and we already have all these tensions around race relationships in the United States, it just adds fuel to the fire. So I think influencers have a huge responsibility to accurately report on these things, because the kids are watching. Quite literally, the kids are watching.
Totally agree.
And so who checks it? Other influencers. I think that when you decide to be an influencer and you decide to be on these political platforms or whatever platform you decide to be on, I do think when you come across misinformation, it is your responsibility to check it, because you're playing in the same arena. You know, you may be on different sides of it, but you're playing in the same arena. And at the end of the day, you should want the correct information to be out there. And because you decide to be a part of the system that's pushing out the information, you need to correct it. I feel strongly about that.
Totally agree with that. What about you, Greg? What are your thoughts?
You know, the only thing that keeps going through my head over and over is Dr. Greg Carr talking about minstrelsy. It's just a minstrel show. Yeah. And for us to engage in a conversation like that and talk over everybody and talk over one another and not even listen, and I'm going to ignore, it sounds like imitation white folk to me. And so that's how they get their clicks and giggles. Had nothing to do with the facts.
Yeah.
But the reality is that we're in a time that we need to restructure how we're going to deal with one another.
Right.
And if we're not going to stand on truth, right? When I got clean, one of the mores was, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. And what we're seeing now is a country that has fallen. They're not even trying to. I listen to talk radio in my city of Cleveland, Ohio, and I can't last more than 5 minutes.
Right. It's a lot of garbage.
and it's on the. I want to hear about the Indians, the Guardians. I'm sorry, I'm old. The Browns. I want to hear about sports, but I don't want you to not say that this is just my opinion and that's all it is.
Right.
You have a right to your opinion, but your opinion does not have to be considered to be right.
Right.
It's almost like they reversed roles, right? The media became micro media, and the micro media became the media, mainstream
Right.
media. I agree with Bree. I think the word influencers tells us all, right? I love the fact that it's went this way.
Mm-hmm.
20 years ago, a mentor of mine who was a journalist told me that micromedia is going to be the number one source of news information. He told me that 20
Mm-hmm.
years ago,
Right.
sitting down in a restaurant. And at the time, I guess I blew it off. I was doing some other stuff, and then I started doing some blogs and stuff. But then when it started happening, I go, wait a minute, that's exactly what he said. Because he said a lot of the news reporters had started getting lazy and didn't want to report, didn't want to find information. They started plagiarizing. So mainstream started saying, hey, there's some people out there that didn't get the news. And so that's what's happening now. So I agree with Bree. I think that the job of the influencers is to fact check. Because A, they got the time, right? They don't have to answer to too many people. I have hope that they're going to do it. Even with these people like Brandon Tatum, trust me, there's a track record of people like him that don't last long.
No.
Someone's over there throwing Trump under the bus. How long does it take?
Yeah.
So they can't change who they are, and he pretty soon he'll turn on. We'll give about 2 years.
And I look at this also where I like how they do it with Surrounded, because regardless of what your issue is, whatever the topic is and the debates, is that they do fact check you. But on the other hand, like we were talking about, like Bria said, and you said also that influencers fact check each other. When you look at mainstream media, they don't literally fact check people right on the spot. They don't. Abby Phillips just started doing it on CNN, because I used to type in like on the show live. I'd be like, yo, how did you let him get away with that? Like, you didn't check him, you know? I mean, I just say that a lot. So she's now checking people in real time. It takes her a minute to jump in there, and she's too soft-spoken for one, but she jump in there. But the thing about it is that they are doing it. I don't remember any other, I don't see any other show right now that where they pick and choose when they want to fact check, you know, or they have pick and choose who they want to fact check, not just when, but who. But on this show, Surrounded, I like it because this is the first time I saw the main person be this uneducated. usually they're the ones dropping bombs on the debaters, the 20 people. They checked this dude. And so, I mean, like Lady talked about, Bria mentioned about Tulsa Massacre, it was totally misinformation he was giving out. So when it comes down to the other, what was that?
That was a crazy take.
Oh yeah, I wish I had thought about that when I was getting these grabbing these. But I like what this guy said about chattel slavery, because when you're having a conversation about slavery, people who oppose anything about reparations or anything with slavery in our country, they'll say, well, slavery was been going on before the Bible was made, but it was a different type of slavery. Even those that were sold, even the Africans that sold to the Europeans to bring them over here to the United States or to America, this land at that time, they were basically captured during war, or just captured. They weren't captured for working the land like this for free, like they did here in the States. So, but getting on to
interested about Brandon is he was one of his main jobs when he was with the I think it was Tucson, Arizona. He was a public communication officer. So part of his job was to get information and repeat the information correctly. So that was his job. So,
he was a police officer too.
He was a police officer, but
that failed.
Yeah, he was a public information officer. So I think that he is most of the time intentionally saying things he know is not true because he's trying to keep that audience.
Y'all remember that sheriff from Milwaukee?
You know, y'all gotta follow the money.
Huh?
Y'all gotta follow the money.
Yeah.
Abby Phillips, she protecting her paycheck.
That's all that is.
You know, a lot. My people, not many of my people understand how to budget. And if you don't know how to run a household, and you're not following with the women who run households, you know, you could get hung out to dry. Women. I mean, it's you can fact check.
Yeah.
Women run the money.
Yeah.
Now the men think they're in charge. the misogyny and patriarchy, and we've gotten into that. But for our people here in America, we just want to imitate who we see in power.
Right.
And right now, the media is giving misinformation.
Yeah.
You ask questions about idiocy and try to make sense.